Houston takes on Oregon, 2:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Vegas. The Houston Cougars are minus 3.5, totals 131. We're 8-2 in our last 10 NBA tier package picks on brockpage.com. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. And the good news is, guys, we have another NBA tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 985 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you end up really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And as bad as the Cougars played in the first half yesterday, Houston still got the W in 4 out of their last 5 ball games. The Cougars are scoring over 70. Now, they did lose yesterday, by the way. I'm throwing that out there. But they still won 4 out of their last 5. The Cougars are scoring over 72 points a night, and they're drilling 40% of their three-pointers as a team. Marcus Sasser is averaging 18 points a game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists for Sasser. He's also grabbing 2 steals a game, and he's knocking down 46% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Kyler Edwards is scoring over 14.5 points a night himself, 5 rebounds and 50% shooting from beyond the arc for Edwards. Meanwhile, defensively, the Cougs are giving up just 57 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to only 28% shooting from beyond the arc. They're taking on an Oregon team who lost 2 out of their last 3 and failed to cover the point spread in all 3 of those contests. As a matter of fact, the Ducks are just 1-4 against the spread overall for the season. They're scoring just 68 points a game. Oregon's also making just 41% of their field goals. And when it comes to the total in this one, Oregon's last 3 straight all fell under the number. 4 and 1 of the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, 3 out of Houston's last 4 fell under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Houston minus 3.5, under 131. Next matchup, UConn, Auburn, 2:30 Eastern start time at the Atlantis. The UConn Huskies are minus 2.5, totals 143. The 4-0 Huskies are scoring 92 points a game. They rank in the top 20 in offensive rebounding. Adama Sanogo is scoring over 15.5 points a game, along with 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, Tyrese Martin is averaging 13.5 points a game, along with 6 boards, couple assists. Martin's also 5 of 7 from 3 land. The Huskies are making nearly 51% of their field goals. Meanwhile, defensively, UConn's in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage. They're taking on an Auburn team who doesn't shoot the ball all that well. The Tigers are making just 29% of their three-pointers. They've also failed to cover the point spread in their most recent outing against USF. They scored only 58 points against the battling Bulls. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Auburn's last 3 fell under the line. Meanwhile, UConn saw 2 out of their last 3 fall under the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward UConn minus 2.5, under 143. Next ball game, it is going to be Iowa State versus Xavier. 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Barclays Center. Xavier's minus 9, totals 136.5. And as good as Xavier's looked, they're really not shooting the basketball all that well. They're shooting just 43% from the field, 29% from beyond the arc. The Musketeers also failed to cover the point spread in their season opener. They scored only 63 points against Niagara. They're taking on a 4-0 Iowa State team who beat Oregon State by double digits a few games ago. Cyclones have done a really nice job scoring late in games. They're averaging 39 second-half points per contest. Isaiah Brockington is scoring 13.5 points a game, along with 8 rebounds. Meanwhile, Tyrese Hunter is averaging nearly 13 points a game himself. 3 rebounds, 6 assists for Hunter. Iowa State's allowing just 57 points per contest. They're also holding their competition to just 26% shooting from 3 land. When it comes to the total on this one, Iowa State's 3-0 to the under in their last 3 straight. Meanwhile, Xavier saw 3 out of their last 4 fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Iowa State plus 9, under 136.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Ohio State versus Florida, 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Florida Gators are -2, totals 139. The 4-0 Gators have also successfully covered the point spread in their last 3 straight. Florida's allowing just 55 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to just 28% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, scoring-wise, Colin Castleton is scoring 17 points a game, along with 9 rebounds, couple assists. The 6'11 senior also has 14 total blocks defensively. Meanwhile, Myron Jones is scoring 12.5 points a night, along with 4 boards, 2 assists. The Penn State transfer is also drilling 42% of his three-pointers. The Gators are currently in the top 20 in the country in fewest points allowed per game. They're taking on a Buckeyes team who failed to cover in 3 out of their last 5 contests. They're also allowing 38 second-half points a game. When it comes to the total in this one, Ohio State's 4-0 to the over in their last 4 straight. They also saw 5 out of their last 6 head-to-head meetings with Florida get over the line as well. I'm going to lean toward the Florida Gators -2, over 139. Next ball game, Memphis, Virginia Tech, 9:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Memphis is -3, totals 139. And as good as Memphis has looked, they did fail to cover in 2 out of their last 4 ball games. Those failures to cover came against the likes of Western Kentucky and Tennessee Tech. The Tigers are shooting just 64% from the foul line. They've also struggled rebounding the ball defensively. They're taking on an undefeated 5-0 Virginia Tech team who successfully covered the point spread in all 5 of their victories. The Hokies are averaging over 76 points a game, and they're connecting on nearly 43% of their three-pointers. As a matter of fact, Virginia Tech's in the top 20 in the nation in offensive three-point percentage. Kaveh Aluma is scoring over a dozen points a game, along with 4 rebounds. Meanwhile, Storm Murphy is scoring over 10.5 points a game, along with 2 rebounds and 46% shooting from downtown. The Hokies are also allowing just 48 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to just 17% shooting from three-land. And of course, the Hokies lead the NCAA in both of those categories I just mentioned. Now, total-wise, Va-Tech's most recent outing fell under the number. They're 4-1 at the under for the entire season. Give me Virginia Tech +3, under 139.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 8-2 in our last 10 NBA tier package picks. I like Houston -3.5, under 131. UConn -2.5, under 143. Iowa State +9, under 136.5. Florida Gators -2, over 139. Virginia Tech +3, under 139.5. And as far as the rest of the country goes, I like Eastern Illinois +5, under 131.5. Jacksonville State -3.5, over 133. Michigan State -2.5, under 140. Long Beach State +10, over 150.5. Give me Rider -2.5, under 149. Maryland Eastern Shore +18.5, under 122. Give me Southern Utah -2, over 149. I like Vermont -4.5, over 122. New Orleans -8, over 151.5. Coppin State +10, under 145. Fairleigh Dickinson +7, over 142.5. Fairfield -1.5, under 134. James Madison +4, over 138. CalPoly -6.5, under 133. Texas San Antonio, UTSA -4.5, over 141. Middle Tennessee State +5, over 131.5. Western Illinois +3, over 147. University of Denver +6, under 124. Give me Cornell -3 under 147. VMI -2.5 under 136. Western Kentucky -20 over 134.5. Give me the Rice Owls -6.5 under 141. Syracuse -5.5 over 130. Radford -5.5 under 133. Wisconsin -2.5 under $1.19. George Washington +11 under 141. Utah Valley -1 under 139. Tulane -4.5 over 131. Illinois State +10 over 151.5. Give me the Cal Golden Bears +12 under 130 and a hook. Boston U +17 under 135.5. Give me Colgate -3 over 147 and a hook. Give me Hampton +11 under 130. I like Princeton -1 over 144. UNC Wilmington -2 over 133.5. Michigan Wolverines -22 over 139 and a hook. UMass -9.5 over 143. Nevada Wolfpack -3.5 over 149. Arizona State Sun Devils +12 under 140 and a hook. Louisiana Tech -16 over 137.5. Delaware Blue Hens +2 over 137.5. Cal State, I always struggle pronouncing that, I'm sorry. Cal State Fullerton -4 over 142. Oklahoma Sooners -29.5 over 143. East Tennessee State +2 under 133.5. SMU Mustangs -12.5 over $1.40. Toledo -7.5 over 147. Texas Longhorns -22 over 139. St. Louis -3.5 over 144. Florida A&M +11 over 131. Minnesota -15 under 131.5. BYU -19 over 138. Pitt Panthers +2.5 under 129. South Dakota State -5 over 153.5. UC San Diego +6 over 138 and a hook. Arkansas Pine Bluff +26 under 136. TCU -11 over 137.5. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 8-2 in our last 10 NBA tier package picks on BrockPage.com. I'm going to lean toward Texas A&M +4 over 132. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and jump into our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to UFC Gambling Addicts, who said earlier this morning, "Cheers, Brock, homie." All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. If you guys end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of November. Although I do tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.